So as Olivier mentioned, there's a few new product mechanisms we've provided and also a new user interface for ProPlan AI, which makes the product feel much more tangible and also gives the user some valuable information about the ProPlan AI predictions that are occurring and the source of those predictions as it comes from their data set. So we'll go ahead and load the user interface first, which just comes up from the Nexus platform page. There is a slight bug here with the flashing, which will be fixed in a few days, hopefully. So once we load the Nexus landing page, if we look at the extensions here, we can click ProPlan AI. And the what we like to refer to as the ProPlan AI prediction manager will appear. And what this user interface basically provides the user with is it shows the pending and successful or failed predictions that are coming from the Esprit client. And it also gives them information about the source of the prediction and the essentially which file and feature the prediction came from in the customer's data set. So, obviously you have with ProPlan AI, it's based off of historical data for the process planning. So it might look at anywhere from 50, 100, or maybe up to 1,000 or more customer files. And it can be difficult to decipher sometimes what or why, where a prediction came from. And so this will be really valuable moving forward for customers to understand maybe where there are gaps in their training data that need to be filled in, or it's also a great tool for us internally to use that helps improve the quality of the predictions by knowing really easily knowing where the source came from. So if we go into the Esprit space here, we'll just do a quick programming of this mill turn part. This is using one of our Lighthouse customers' data set. This is not their part, but these predictions are actually coming from real customer data. And as Olivier mentioned, the product now it will commercially support, in addition to milling, also turning, and there are improvements to the stock recognition. So in the previous 2 releases of Esprit, we supported stock probing, basically stock detection for each intermediate prediction, each intermediate process as you were programming with ProPlan AI, and it would probe the stock and measure the stock above the feature and around the feature and inside the feature to get a sense of how much material needs to be removed. And previously that was only available for milling, but that is now also available for turning. So if I go ahead and right click on this feature, which is a facing contour for a turning feature on the front of the part. Just give it a second. And we can see that ProPlan AI produced a successful prediction. In this case, it's a roughing and a face finishing operation. There is a link error, and that is naturally expected because the currently ProPlan AI does not optimize based on like the order of operations. So in the case of this customer's data, the facing operation would likely be programmed after the OD is turned and the bulk of the material is removed on the OD. So we'll just go ahead and click the OD feature next, and we'll right click and run ProPlan AI. And now we have a OD rough and finish operation, and we can go to the operations tab in Esprit, and we can just drag our face operation, our face finishing operation to go be after the OD is roughed, and now we can see the link error is resolved. That's a potential improvement area of improvement for ProPlan AI in the future would be further optimizing the order of operations. But that probably won't be for a few more releases. So then we'll go ahead and we'll do a few more features here. We'll go ahead and click these grooving features, and we can do two at once. We'll select both and then run ProPlan AI. And we can see that it successfully applied grooving operations to these features. And then if we go into the new user interface, we can see all of the features that the history of the features that were successfully applied. And the great value here is we can like click this button and we can see the historical data that informed the prediction. So you can see this is showing for the rough face and the face operation, it's showing the past file and the past feature that these came from. So in the case, this is obviously coming from a customer's data set. If there, for example, if this maybe wasn't the most appropriate prediction and they weren't really sure where this was coming from, they now have the information easily available about the source. And you can, of course, expand all, collapse all, and you can see the information for all of the different features. So we'll go ahead and clear this, and then we can continue with a couple milling operations. And we'll just do these 3 pockets. Actually, maybe we'll do these 2 pockets individually. And we can do this one here. We can run ProPlan AI again. And again, you can see the predictions were applied successfully, and it milled these flats. You can see this came from a different file and a different feature, obviously. And then just to finish programming the part, we'll go ahead and we will run ProPlan AI on this whole. And we can also go ahead and we'll program a pickup operation. This pickup point looks good. That should be about here on the part. Okay, and then the last thing we'll do is we will program a cutoff operation on the back face contour. Should apply a cutoff. Yep. So you can see it's successfully applied an entire mill turn program, obviously only on the main side. We won't program the entire part, but then we can go ahead and simulate. Can slow it down a little bit. And so if there were obviously any major programming problems here, the user can of course come in and edit the settings of the operations, which is naturally something that sometimes the user needs to do. It's not always a perfect prediction, but if it's if it's a prediction that's doesn't really make any sense, again, the user now has that capability to come and use this interface. And it's something all of our Lighthouse customers and customers in general have just asked for many releases, because they often get predictions, especially when their data set maybe is a smaller data set. They maybe only have 50 to 100 files that are used for training, and they're not really sure where the source of the predictions are coming from. This will just help them improve that and fill in gaps, and also in general improve ProPlan AI for all customers, as we can use this tool internally as well. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's any questions.
Yes, I do. I'm just curious. It's impressive what we can do with this technology. But just for my information, here we see a source, a file that has been used for prediction. Does that mean that we are looking in the data set for the file that are the most likely feature matching what we have in this document? If we are not mixing multiple sources, let's say, for instance, the feature geometry match more in this other file, so we're going to take the strategy, how to cut it in this file, but the material match more another part inside another file. So maybe the feed and speed would come from this other source.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that work? If is it only one source or multiple sources?
That's a great question. Yeah. So currently, ProPlan AI just basically takes it composes a recipe, a process planning recipe. So let's, for example, if we look at these two features here, if I go ahead and I'll like delete everything in the file really quick, just to show. Oh, we're in simulation. So if I run a prediction on the OD contour or something like that, and it has these two operations that are both applied. So in this case, we're seeing the prediction come from the same feature. So ProPlan AI does have the capability to do what we call it's a composition model. So it can pull processes from two different reference features, but it cannot currently manipulate and edit any of the settings that are directly in the, that would be the PRC file of the operation, the process file. So it's not going to change the feed and speed based on which specific material you're looking at. Obviously, we do look at the material, and we look at all those characteristics about the feature, about the machine's capabilities, and about the parameters that influence that process selection, but we don't actually control the individual operation settings, at least not currently. It just comes and can pull processes from multiple features and multiple files in some cases. In this case, it's not doing that, but yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, you could train your engine with the same part but different material, and that would give you a different process, I guess.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Thanks.
That's definitely something for the future that we've been thinking about for a while now. But yeah. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
Now I'll let you continue without taking up the entire presentation. Sorry.
I'd like to mention also that being turning, it applies to Swiss. So ProPlan AI can be applied to Swiss, which gives me a good transition for the next